Well, we decided to do another beer video. Um, and we'll probably keep doing them. I think that's probably the plan, right? To keep doing them.
Yep, sorry, I punted last week. It was very, very hot. It
Oh,
still is hot. You may notice I'm a little shiny. I am sweating.
yeah, it's not as hot here now. Like I actually just opened the window. But it was hellish. Yeah, it was really fucking uncomfortable. Like to the point where, all right, everybody cry for Brian, who's going to talk about his air conditioning that he luckily enough has central air that I know a lot of people don't have. But my
You.
Yeah. Our central air was like down to like 75 degrees because it couldn't keep up. And so we read that you should actually dial down your thermostat like whenever that happens. It said to set it at 78, and I was like, fuck that shit. I'm not going as low as 78. But yeah, it wasn't great. But I know there were people that don't have central air. We have a neighbor who was talking about how it was 94 degrees in her house.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, don't like
It's
that.
June.
Yeah, that's cool and normal. Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Can't wait for August. Can't wait to see what that's like.
Yeah, the state fair, I'm going to be considering the sartorial possibilities of swimsuits.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is where we are. I mean, we just got to get used to this, I guess, because you know, we can't trust anybody to fix anything. So let's just yeah,
Yeah, fuck it.
keep getting
Right?
hotter and hotter. Yeah. It's funny, somebody asked me, like somebody that, I don't know that well asked me like if I had kids, and I was like, no. They asked why, and I was like, well, outside of the I don't want them, like would feel a little bit of guilt bringing a child into this world at this point that by the time they're my age, who knows what the temperatures are going to be like? Who knows what the environment's going to be like? Why would I do that to somebody?
Yeah, that's kind of about where we're at.
Yeah.
Like, not great.
No, it's not. So, what are you going to do? Um, I don't know if we should do beer first or if we should make fun of the Democrats for just being a complete fucking joke as usual. Um,
Yeah, so if if everyone I think everyone's aware, Zoran Mamdani won the primary
yep.
work for uh, the Democratic candidate for mayor. Absolutely crushing Andrew Cuomo, who
Thank
I
fuck.
put multiple rounds, but no
Yeah.
route. Cuomo conceded at like what, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., something like
Yeah.
that.
You saw Brad Lander's press conference, right?
Yeah, good fucking riddance indeed.
So good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, they don't really want to win. They really don't want to win. They just want to be right, and they're not right. And if they could put the same amount of tearing this guy down in the Trump and his administration, we could have an
Yeah,
opposition party.
it's really baffling to me, like the amount of people like that endorsed Cuomo. I guess Bill Clinton wasn't a surprise
Yeah.
because we can think of what those two have in common, but
Yeah.
and I guess James Clyburn wasn't really either. But yeah, not that Kirsten Gillibrand has made like particularly good decisions, but considering she actually used to be pretty good about, or at least,
Yeah.
made the rank in, and her big thing used to be like sexual violence in the military. Like her going to bat for a sex pest sure was depressing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's in her brain or her heart, and like maybe it was always just an opportunist thing, but it's still like for whatever reason someone would make that pivot. That is a huge bummer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't even understand. Like people, I think people insisting that Zoran support for Palestine is an issue have been boiling their brains online for too long because I genuinely do not think like people give that much of a shit unless they're like a member of the professional like bullshitter class.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of, we've been seeing Israeli war crimes on TV for months and months.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's pretty obvious, like this can no longer reasonably be called self-defense. So
No, not anymore. No. Hasn't been for a long time.
no,
I mean, you saw there was a whistleblower who basically said that they were getting orders to fire on people that were just showing up for aid.
yep. And that did not surprise me in the slightest.
No.
I, I guess if anyone, I was late to the game on this, but if anyone wants a little uplift, there was a MMA fight between an Irish fighter, Paddy McCrory, like the most Irish name you can possibly even come up with, and a Israeli fighter called Shuki Faraj. Faraj, I think it's pronounced like Nigel Farage, another piece of shit. Anyway, Shuki Faraj made like kind of a big thing about like he either was or currently is in the IDF.
Yeah.
And he's like talking about how like, I'm fighting for Israel specifically. Um, and Patty McCrory just fucking hands him his ass, just dumpsters this man absolutely. And like when he's in the middle of like just slamming his forearm into this dude's neck, he shouts "Free Palestine," and you can see him just fucking wailing on him and yelling, "You're a fucking baby killer." And
I didn't see any of this, so I'll have to look
it's
this up.
cool. So
Yeah.
I saw some fucking chatter online, like, well, it's kind of anti-Semitic to call a Jew a baby killer, don't you think? It's like he's not just a Jew. Shuki Faraj is in the IDF.
Yes.
Like we've all seen them
Yeah.
literally killing children.
Yeah. I don't,
So I think it's way more anti-Semitic than to say, like, to conflate all Jews everywhere with the fucking IDF. That,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, exactly. And like that's the whole thing. Like I know why they're conflating those issues. I mean, it's an obvious strategy. But it's it is not anti-Semitic to criticize a government.
no.
And that's what we're doing.
Especially since, like, by the standards of most Jewish populations, like, the leadership in Israel is, like, incredibly right-wing and psychotic.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they've got their own Hitler, you know? And again, I'm not speaking up for Hamas either. Like I realize that that's also an issue, but um it just comes down to the government. Like I hold nothing against the Israeli people. They deserve peace also, and I know a lot of them aren't exactly excited about this either. Um
I think you're being a little too charitable.
maybe I don't know.
Well, I mean, there have been a couple high-profile cases of IDF conscientious objectors, and like, I think that's really brave. I think that's great. But like, if you look at how shit polls, like internally, like a lot of the Jewish, or not the Jewish population, like, or especially the Orthodox Jewish population,
Yeah,
is like, very cool with like thousands being starved.
yeah,
I think it has a lot to do with like kind of what sect you're in, like kind of like right-wing evangelical Christians, like very right-wing Jews in Israel tend to vote as a bloc.
yeah.
So
Sure. Okay.
yeah,
That's fair. Yeah,
I guess the comparison I would make maybe is like kind of America post 9/11,
yeah,
where we saw kind of this rise. And I guess, it kind of makes sense. Like, okay, so there was an attack on your soil. And so like kind of leadership gets a lot of leeway to do like grossly disproportionate retaliation.
yeah, yeah.
Also, a lot of people say some pretty psycho shit about Muslims generally.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, look. I mean, the New York City is an example of that. I guess I'll say it better. Maybe this is a better way to say it. Like, it's not anti-Semitic to be against. We're not against the religion. It's not like we're criticizing Jewish people because they're Jewish. Like, it has nothing to do with because they're Jewish.
In religious tradition, and most importantly, it's like very, very different everywhere. Like
Yeah,
kind of European um Jewish culture, like I'm even just saying European is like way too broad.
yeah,
I don't know if you're Jewish in like Eastern Europe, that's way different as an experience than being Jewish in America. which in itself is like way different if you're in like a small town versus if you're in like an urban center.
Sure, yeah.
And just and again, like that different experience comes with a lot of like kind of um like ways that people kind of express that politically, I guess. Like, I don't think you can look at, like, say, I don't know, like a Reformed Jewish congregation in, like, I don't know, like Portland, Oregon, I don't
Yeah,
know, or whatever. I'm just kind of throwing this together. And then, like, compare that to, like, the super, super ultra Orthodox, like, communities in Brooklyn.
yeah,
Like, it just doesn't make any sense to generalize in that way.
yeah,
And
that's fine. Yeah,
religion, but anyway, I guess my point is, like, yeah, conflating, like, Israel generally with Jews in particular, or Jews in like broadly doesn't really make that much sense to me. It is like one country with very specific like
yeah,
a like, uh, a range of beliefs with a specific government, and like Netanyahu in particular is like hilariously corrupt. I think like there was some speculation when the October 7th attacks happened that he kind of let it happen to distract from the fact that like he was maybe going to get knocked out of power for
yeah,
like
yeah,
being a huge scumbag.
yeah. And so now he's got the war to justify staying in power.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, America.
Yeah, so that's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think really the reason that there's all this outside support for Israel in America, well, A, it's due to evangelical Christians saying that like Israel must be destroyed in order to start the rapture. And if there's
yeah,
faster. And for some reason that doesn't get the same scrutiny for being anti-Semitic that like say, I don't know, Ilhan Omar saying like, man, APEC's pretty bad does.
yeah. And the fact that the rapture was invented, what, like 150 years ago, it's not in the fucking Bible. It's not canon. Like it's something that was just made up. You can okay, you can say all religion's made up, but it's a fucking event that was made up fairly recently. So, we're not talking about like God's word here or something that Jesus said. Like it was never a fucking thing. It's something that was invented not that long ago. And yeah, I'll just, whenever the rapture doesn't happen, what are these fuckers gonna do next?
I think it's one of those things that can kind of indefinitely be pushed off, but
Yeah, like, the
yeah,
world's gonna, yeah, like those doomsday people that are like, oh, the world ends on, whatever date, and then it doesn't happen, and they push, yeah,
we've got my point is we've got some kind of special relationship, and there's a reason that we stuck with Israel every stupid step of the way.
yeah. Yep,
Kind
we
both
never
countries,
change.
both countries have a knack for like picking kind of shitty leadership, and also kind
Yeah,
of definitely crushing people who feel like have wronged us.
yeah.
So yeah, and I guess one thing I really want to emphasize is I don't think that in terms of either corruption or the oppression of minorities, Israel's super unique. You
Sure, yeah, sure.
characterize crushing like minority populations, land grabs, things of that nature. Like you can kind of see this with
You can see it
a
with
lot of
us. You can see it with the United States.
yeah, in Canada and
Yeah, and Canada. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, it's not unique, but it's still fucking heinous. And whenever you're dealing with
I
one of
guess
them,
the key difference between this and like past land grabs and genocides is we're all kind of witnessing it 24/7 on our
yeah,
phone. And I'm gonna do a general PSA and say like I really feel like sometimes people need to watch less gore
I
coming
think
out of
that's a
God.
good idea. Yeah.
Like I think you can keep yourself reasonably up on the situation. You can like, send money to help people there. You can
Yeah.
do like that. You do not need to watch every single clip someone sends you of a mutilated child.
I think that's a good idea. And there's also,
Like I've kind of watched it break some people's brains in real time,
yeah.
like kind of getting more susceptible to like I don't
Well, I think the other thing that happens, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I think the other thing that happens with that too is it becomes desensitizing. You see so much of it that it just turns into like, well, that's, oh, like they killed more people. Okay. They ice put more people in a van. Okay. Like I feel like the more that it's out there and it becomes normalized. And so I think taking a step back is good in that perspective as well. I mean, you keep yourself informed as to what's going on, but you don't have to follow all the minutia because it's not good for you.
Yeah, and especially in this situation, there is like a pretty limited amount you can actually do. So
Yeah.
I think sometimes people torture themselves for no real good reason.
I've done that.
And like this isn't to say you need to utterly ignore everything happening there.
Yeah. Pick
Like
and
I
choose. Like you gotta not pick and choose, but I think you gotta take in as much as you need to be informed, but don't overwhelm yourself.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's do beer. You went first last week, and hopefully YouTube hasn't kicked us off the air for having the audacity to talk about Israel, but here we are. Um, so I have one. Oh my God, my beer is sweating. It's not even that hot in here. From Ommegang, who we haven't done a beer from them in a while. And I picked this one up because it's interesting, and I'm curious as to how this is going to work. I mean, okay, the flavors I understand how they're going to work. One part of it, let me just show you what it is. It's this. It's oak aged watermelon Kölsch. I'm curious about the oak aged, like how that what type of effect that's going
What?
to have.
That sounds really nice.
It does,
And
and it sounds like a
the oak aging comes into it.
yeah. There's a big thing on the back. So ale with natural flavors and colored with purple carrot juice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess, watermelon does not have a very concentrated color.
yeah, yeah. This is 6%, so it's not super heavy. And we're gonna drink out of a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers glass. Why not? So here we go.
I always just think of that song that the senator's daughter sings in Silence of the Lambs. That's Tom Petty, right?
Oh God, well I don't remember what song that is.
She was an American
Oh,
girl.
American Girl. Yeah, that's Tom Petty. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So there you go. There's your purple carrot coloring and interesting smell.
Purple carrots are quite pretty. You've seen them, right?
Yeah. Oh my. Wow.
Mm, Are
That is full on watermelon.
are you
And I'm talking about
a bit much?
not what's
Oh,
that?
it's a bit much.
No, 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 not at all. It tastes like watermelon, like fresh watermelon. It does not taste like watermelon flavoring, which is kind
Cool.
of what I was a little worried about. Um, I was curious about what the taste it was going to get from the oak barrels, and I gotta be honest, nothing's really standing out, but that's okay.
Okay.
That's
And it just tasted like a Pilsner to me, so
yeah, I mean, this just tastes like a watermelon. It doesn't hold on, let me do one more. Yeah, there's not if I would give this to you and not tell you what it was and you drank it, you could probably say it's some sort of watermelon cocktail. It's not very beery. Um, but it is incredibly tasty. And it is like, yeah, it's summer. This is perfect. A perfect summer beer. Perfect. Um, I don't know, the 4th of July is next week. I don't know how into that we all are, but
anniversary.
what's that?
My 12th wedding anniversary.
Well, there you go. There's a reason to celebrate. So there you go. Yeah, this just tastes like this is a cookout beer. And
Cool. Yeah,
but not but a cookout beer that's not like a fucking Miller Lite or something like that because like I know that that's like a big cookout staple. So like if you want something different and interesting and summery, um, but it's not going to get you super loaded, I would go for this. This is fantastic.
cool.
Great tasting.
Watermelon Kolsch sounds like a really nice concept, and I'm glad
Yeah.
like they went with a Kolsch instead of like a sour like everyone fucking does. Like I've got
Yep.
actually. Um, yeah, I had earlier, and I liked it so much. I bought a 4 pack at Arbeiter. Their Pride beer is a tangerine wheat ale,
Oh,
and so good.
Yeah, it's funny on the can that it does say that this is a smooth depth reminiscent of a watermelon margarita. That's so there you go. That's kind of what I was saying. Is it kind of I don't want to discourage anybody who wants to drink a beer, um, but it does have more of that like cocktail type of taste. And yeah, just bursting with fresh watermelon. This is seriously one of the tastiest beers I've ever had. And I've had a lot of beers. This
Well,
is I've had a lot of beers. This is really good. I'm a fan of Ommegang anyway. Their Game of Thrones beers were pretty good. Um,
I had the Night Watch Stout was terrific. Um, the red ale, the Targaryen red ale, was really good. Uh,
yeah,
I know that the I didn't have the last one they put out, but that was around the time the last season of the show came out, and I didn't like it very much, so it's a little bitter.
yeah,
Uh,
that makes sense.
yeah, I mean, I've softened a little on it since then. I think it's kind of the Star Wars prequels of Game of Thrones, where I thought they had some interesting concepts, but they execution.
Yeah.
What Daenerys turning evil arc was the Jar Jar of Game of Thrones. Not okay, not quite. I guess it's more like the I don't understand speech, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, like I thought I don't know. I thought they had the opportunity to do something really cool, and sadly, I don't know. It just turned into like the whole last two episodes really felt like someone was like very violently elbowing me in the ribs and yelling, "Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get
yeah,
it?"
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. I
yeah.
don't like when I feel like I'm really dumb. Don't care for it.
It got super rushed. I mean, that was the other thing too, is it just felt like they were blazing by.
I I am a little dumb, but yeah, yeah, especially like it was a show that like I really liked for kind of the somewhat slower pace and attention to detail.
Yeah,
Like, and then they just it's very, very zoomed past a lot of that stuff.
yeah.
And I will stand by my opinion. In the books, it's kind of heavily implied there's going to be another Targaryen civil war because Daenerys's nephew is also nephew, I think. Not
Yeah, I think that's what.
yeah.
He was the kid on the ship, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, Fagon. But possibly not really a gun, but yeah, there's it's heavily implied she's going to be fighting her nephew, and in the show that character just never gets replaced. So
yeah, he was never a character, right?
no, with like, and you would think that would mean they'd have to do something a little different, but they just kind of like propped up Cersei as the person everyone likes and is supporting when we've seen her just burn bridges for like
Yeah,
7
yeah,
sense. I don't know. I thought it would have been great as like if Daenerys became like by deposing Cersei, kind of a George W. Bush post 9/11 kind of character, where like
oh,
starts centralizing power and like crushing dissent and becoming more ruthless, but like people are on board with it because she got all this goodwill from like killing the best, like the
yeah,
evil. Leader. I thought that could have been neat, like kind
yeah,
of, like and maybe would have accentuated like kind of how helpless it seems that Jon and Tyrion feel like at the end of the show, like, oh shit, well, she's obviously kind of becoming unhinged, but she's got
yeah,
popular support. Like that would have made that make a little sense rather than her just like I don't know, kind of randomly going nuts.
yeah, yeah,
And like that's another thing I hated because like um and talk about the Targaryen curse, but it usually isn't madness. Like, there have been a couple legit crazy Targaryens, including her dad, yes, but like far more often they were evil in mundane ways. Like Maegor is really mean and
yeah,
stupid, and like what's it? Fucking Viserys, the one who kicked off Dance of Dragons, or the Targaryen Civil War Dance of Dragons. Like he was just kind of a weak people pleaser. There's another one. Baelor the Blessed was a religious fanatic.
yeah,
So, like a lot of ways you can make a bad Targaryen. I didn't think like her going crazy made sense. I think her being like really ruthless and kind of evil would have, but
yeah. That would have made
whatever.
sense.
The fact that I'm still so annoyed about this show, like
I
writers
think a lot of people are.
out its staying power.
I know. Why don't you do your shirt real fast?
Okay, this is the Wayland Yutani Corporation, aka the company from Aliens. I picked this lightest one. It's very hot out on this porch, but I do like it quite a bit.
Nice. My shirt is a Merciful Fate shirt that has King Diamond on it, and this shirt is proof that yes, you can sometimes find bootleg shirts that are nice.
I saw Merciful Fate in Norway, and I'm so glad I did because they
Oh,
came here. It was like $100 fucking, and I just
yeah, they're
myself.
they're like the one band left I have to see. So, and I guess well, unless somebody dies, I guess that's gonna happen because they're making a new record. So I'm sure they'll be around.
Okay, I
So what's
am
your beer again? You
feel
poured your
bad.
beer. Did you tell us what the beer was?
No, I'm
Damn it,
gonna
Helen.
committed to it now. Luckily, oh God, it's just going everywhere. Oh no. Okay. We're just gonna. You can't really see, but this can is just like sloshing. I'm so terrible at this. Oh, okay. Well.
Show us the can, damn it.
Okay. So this is a tropical smoothie sour. I decided to try a style I don't usually like.
Okay.
Fries though. Usually their sours are pretty solid. So we're gonna see if they break the curse. I'm gonna
Yes.
washcloth.
Are
None. Whatever. We'll just keep going here.
It'll
Uh,
dry. It's hot.
yeah, so it is passion fruit, dragon fruit, and a wisp of vanilla. In my experience, these are usually way too fucking sweet. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
We'll see.
And it's a lovely color, though. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. We both had very nice colored beers this week.
Um, very like kind of rosy here. I like passion fruit a lot.
Yeah.
I had a dragon fruit. It just didn't taste like much to me, but I may have gotten it was from the Asian grocery by my house that has some I don't want to talk shit. They have a lot of good stuff, but sometimes their produce can be a little inconsistent.
Eh.
Anyway,
There are a lot of American grocery stores whose produce is inconsistent.
well, I'll be dipped. It's actually pretty decent. It's
Hey.
still a little sweet side for me, but um I should have figured I don't think the vanilla really works with it, but there's not a lot in there. It's more like an
Yeah.
apple, so I can just kind of ignore it. And the passion fruit and the dragon fruit work really well for a fruit sour because passion fruit's super, super tart.
Hmm.
So it kind of balances the kind of the over sweetness of vanilla. I'm still, I still think it could have been better without the vanilla. I understand why they felt the need to put that in there because like passion fruit, if there's not a contrasting element, can kind of turn like very acrid pretty
Yeah.
quick. So I get it.
I am burping like crazy after this beer, by the way.
Yeah, this is nice. Probably wouldn't get it again just because like the vanilla is a bit of a deal breaker because I think
Sure.
it just balanced very, very slightly into too sweet territory.
Yeah.
Um, kind of hard not to. I guess maybe I don't know what else I would have done though. But this is really nice. I think Pyres is really good at sours. They do a raspberry one that's like part of their it's like one of their flagship beers and it's
Yeah.
really they do a pineapple one. I think it's more seasonal,
Ooh.
solid. Yeah, I like this. They're also gonna have a wrestling event there, I think next month or excuse me. Yeah, I think next month. So maybe I'll go there and see that. They have a really nice brewery, which has like some of the nicest toilets I've ever used.
That's what you want.
Yeah, last time I was there, it was for a little pop-up sauna thing with my friends Nick and Mandy. And like, I remember I was walking there and the bus stop was further away than I thought. So like, it was kind of like emergency situation by the time I got to the bathroom. So
Yeah.
there. Um, but yeah, they have it's like if you've ever been in like a somewhat classy European airport,
Well,
um,
I haven't, but I'll take your word on it.
or really any European airport, it's like kind of a it's like quiet, uh, um like very well lit, like dark walls, and like they most importantly, they have the floor to ceiling doors.
Oh God, that's perfect.
So good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like actually, Arbiter has these too. which is really great because it like helps that like they don't have to gender the restrooms. So
Yeah.
like go in there and help their kids out or whatever.
Yeah. I
There's
always
no
heard
like
people I always heard people complain about those doors saying like, well, how will I know if somebody's in there? Like I can't knock or something. Like, is the door closed?
I
There's
see
probably someone in
very well
there.
saying things,
Yeah.
they just kind of gently try the handle.
Yes, it's not that hard. And then when
Most of
somebody
them have
hears
a
it,
little switch that'll show like vacant or occupied.
yeah, yeah, that too. Yeah, yeah. Floor to ceiling to floor doors in the restroom. I if anybody runs for president on that as one of their platforms, they got my vote. Well, unless they're fascist, and I probably then I'm probably like, you're just this isn't good enough because you're still stealing people off the streets, which I don't like. Um,
Oh, our presidential slate's going to be oops all fascists. I guess I'll vote
ugh.
for.
Yeah, I'm really curious just to see how this New York City. I have a feeling Zoran's gonna win. I know it's gonna.
He's up against
He's up against shithead Garrick Adams, Curtis Sliwa for fuck's sake, and is Cuomo still on?
about Curtis Sliwa is apparently he has 16 rescue cats.
All
So,
right.
I mean, I think he should just go chill with his rescue cats and not keep running for mayor. I don't think I think he's been crushed in every single election. So,
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't. It's not really Curtis Sliwa I'm worried about. It's more the Democratic Party, and who the fuck, what shitty asshole they're gonna get behind. I saw somebody say this week, and I think it's pretty true that had if he was a Republican and he won a race like this, the Republicans would be getting around him and being like, "Oh shit, maybe that's the way to go."
whoever, like whatever psycho wins, I think we've seen this. Um, and I think to some extent it has bitten them in the ass a bit. Like you can see how like the small government people and the crush our enemies people are kind of arguing right now about the big beautiful bill.
Yeah,
But at least, um, I feel like that kind of thing naturally happens. And yeah, they can definitely come together in a way Democrats can't. And like I am so sick of the better things aren't possible caucus. Just
yeah, yeah.
like I don't know. Oh man, I heard the race for Maine District 2 um is going to be between Paul LePage and Jared Golden, and I just want to put my head in the oven.
You know, I guess they can't all be winners. I think we just have to try to get as many races to have somebody progressive, somebody with some actual ideas, somebody with some actual opposition. I know that every race isn't going to have that, but we got to try to get as many as we can because it's clear when you run those people, they win. Um,
Yeah, it's like, and people are like, well, it's an outlier, like whatever, whatever. Like, it's New York City, it's super lives. Like New York City is not all that hyper liberal. Like it's solidly democratic, like
yeah,
most urban areas. But considering that like like a lot of Americans live in cities, I'm really sick of this writing off of urban areas as like not real America when it's
yeah, of course. Because
like
who
we're
generally
like
tends to live in the urban areas?
we're proportionate representation every like in the House and especially in the fucking Senate.
Yeah.
And it's like, at what point am I allowed to say I don't give a fuck what you dirt farmers think? Like, like,
I just kind of want to continue to see campaigns like this. Like I think that hearing Bernie Sanders talk afterward about saying that, had Kamala Harris run this type of campaign, she would have won. And I think he's right. Like I think there's so
not
many
like everything
lessons.
the Harris campaign had got undercut by like the fucking consultant class.
Yeah.
Like, let Tim Walz keep dunking on those guys.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
say this one who like has some admittedly mixed feelings on
Yeah.
Tim,
Yeah.
so president here,
Yeah.
and like honestly, yeah, like we've discussed my feelings on Tim Walz's death here, but yeah, when he called those freaks weird, I was like, he is correct. We should let him keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then now it's mean. We have to like
Who gives a
respect like
shit?
the 10 centrist Republicans we could possibly win over.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like I think even if you're worried about that, I'm pretty sure these like mythic centrist Republicans look at like fucking Mike Lee retweeting 4chan memes and they're like, yeah, that guy is pretty weird.
Yeah, but why call him out on it? I mean, we got to be civil here. We are almost out of time, shockingly. So we gotta let's how do we want to wrap up? Why am I never prepared for this?
I have exciting personal news, not from me, uh, but my friend Emma, who I train with at Southside Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here in Minneapolis, she is a purple belt, and won a she won the gi division in her tournament, and she came in second in the no gi. So she did really well, and this is after 3 years of not competing.
Yeah,
So I
that's
was
awesome.
spectating. I sent you some pictures of her on the podium.
Yeah,
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 did
yeah.
well. I think that's super cool.
Awesome, yeah. Um, so in I know we got to wrap up, but like so no gi competition. What do they compete in no gi competition?
So just a rash guard, which is like kind of
Yeah,
like a mesh, not mesh, but like the kind of shirt you'd wear for sports, kind of that poly
yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah. I know what a rash guard is.
really like some rubber grippy parts on the sleeves and the waistband so it doesn't ride up.
Okay,
And
okay.
yeah, another guy who guest taught at our school, Ramiro Leon, he won, I think, the championship overall in the men's in his division.
Wow.
Anyway, he had a really cool pair of shorts, and like I find him really intimidating, but I was like, I kept wanting to ask him, where did you get those shorts? Those look incredible.
Yeah. Well, if he's watching, tell us where you got your shorts. Helen wants to know.
Yeah, you did a
I want to know.
really
I just bought a pair of shorts this afternoon that I've been told look like porn shorts, and I'm very excited whenever we're done here to go put them on. So, this has been the beer video. I'm glad Helen looks horrified, and we're gonna end this on that. I couldn't have come up with a better way to end this. Nice going, me. Goodbye.